right, I did it again. My last video, iPad storage filled up. So anyways, I'm just going to wrap it up here with this part 2. It's going to be like a minute or two. And, where was I? So God created the world, right? Obviously, the whole point you're trying to make with the unbeliever is that he did create the world and that he is real. And so how do you prove that an invisible God is real? And like I said, in Romans chapter 1, it talks about that God's reality can be gleaned from what his hands have created. Just like you would see this lamp in 2,000 years reflect that there was an ancient civilization that created it, right? And that's not quite the design argument. And what I really wanted to get to was that everything in God's creation are differentiated from himself, even though they bear resemblances to who he is, they bear attributes to who he is. The things that I create are going to bear resemblances to who I am, although they aren't going to be the exact representation of my being. Even the mirror reflection is not the exact representation of my being, because if it was the exact representation of my being, it would actually have to have life in it. And so life, God did give us life, and we do have life. So that's what differentiates his creation from our creations. But there's nothing within the creation, even the Bible, there's nothing within the creation that God has said is the exact fullness of who he is, that he put fullness in anything. And so there's nothing that lives forever in creation, and there's nothing that is not subject to decay in creation. But the thing is that the difference between God and us and what we create is that there's no bounds to what he's able to do within his creation. Like, I can't, in order to bring this lamp back to life in 2,000 years, I can't actually have my spirit enter into it and be within it. But God actually was able to enter into his creation and to become a human being and enter into his creation. And in that moment, what he did was he put on corruptibility. Not that he was corruptible inwardly, because in order to redeem creation, he had to be sinless. So he was not inwardly corruptible in his spirit. His spirit was is eternal. But his outward body, his flesh, was still capable of being killed. And so we saw that Jesus was killed. He went under the judgment system of man. He humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on the cross. And if you think about that, at that moment in history, the Roman Empire was the height of the world, the height of the pomp and the world empire and power. And the Roman Empire put people on crosses, and that was displaying them for the whole world to see, their nakedness, their shame, their humiliation. It was the most humiliating way to die, and it was probably the most painful and excruciating and long way to die. Instead of just being beheaded, you actually have to endure the suffering and torment of the cross. And so it says in Philippians chapter 2 that he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on the cross. So the thing that came into the creation and corrupted it, Jesus Christ came and became obedient to that thing. And so that's where I'm going to end it, under 5 minutes. But that proves who God is. Jesus proved who God is. It says in Hebrews chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, that in the past God spoke to our forefathers through the prophets at many times and in various ways. We have all those writings right here, still in 2023. But in these later times, he has spoken to us through his Son, who he appointed as an heir of all things, and through whom he made the universe. So there you have it. Remember that. God bless you.